Hey, Baltimore, how you doing? It's me, David Anthony Wiggins, Republican for Baltimore City Mayor in the election of 2020. And here I am again, making another video. First and foremost, I want to say to the Republicans in the primary, don't vote for that liar, Shannon Wright. She's not a pastor of any church. She lied on me and the jury acquitted me. They tried to move me off of the Baltimore City Republican Central Committee because I fight corruption. But this is to Baltimore City as a whole, not just the Republicans, but to the black Democrat majority. And some of you will call me racist, and I really don't care. I really don't care. I don't give a damn. Because I'm sick and tired of WMAR, WJZ, WBAL on the radio and the television, WBFF, uh, the Sun Paper, and the media trying to blame all of the crime and the harm on black children in this city. Now, when we at the Black Think Tank came to you and told you that the mayors and the city council people were corrupt, you wouldn't take it from us. When we were out fighting against the Baltimore police because they were abusing our children on the streets here. They were abusing our people. They were stopping people and they were doing body cavity searches on the street. God, do you know how humiliating that was? They murdered Anthony Anderson, said the boy had drugs. And when the toxicology was done on his poor body, his abused and broken body, there were no drugs. No policemen were charged with his murder. They said it was justified. But he hadn't been convicted of a crime. And I feel passionately about this lock 'em up attitude because of Shannon Wright trying to have me locked up for 20 years for a crime I didn't commit. Yes, I feel passionately about that. I'm hurt behind it. My family is hurt. I lost income behind this. Judge Charles Peters, he struck the inconsistent verdict, but he should have just dismissed the case when the jury found me not guilty of the deadly weapon charges. Because this is what she said. I charged her with a knife. And these are the kind of lies that are the blood libeling lies that are being perpetrated against our children by media personalities. Like on their programs. It's the C4 program. You know, his daddy was a crook. His daddy and his uncle was a crook. But yet here he is on the radio crying about crime. What was the police commissioner that went to jail, the convicted felon from New York? I can't even think of his name but he's always on Channel 45. You know, they use him as an expert on policing. You go to a crook to blood libel black people. Do you remember how Catherine Pugh Davis, Marilyn Mosby stood before the cameras and came and told you that a black man in a black jacket with a white stripe on the back murdered Detective Sean M. Suter? Do you remember that? And now they come to you and say that he committed suicide. And the poor family, his poor wife. What kind of games are the political operatives, these people, many of them who are appointed by people like Hogan? He hasn't done anything about the sanctuary city policy in Baltimore, where the MS-13 controls Southeast Baltimore. We have all these Asian businesses in the city. We have all these Asian businesses run by Koreans, run by Pakistanis, run by Bangladeshis, run by Indians, run by Arabs. And of all the murders and all the robberies in this city, not a hue and cry, not one merchant murdered, not any stores robbed. Do you know why? Look at the thriving drug trade outside of these stores. The city's in crisis. Who's working on the city funded projects? How many times as my friend David Johnson Sr. likes to say, is Spinello going to tear up North Avenue? The graft and the corruption, Healthy Holly, the University of Maryland board. How many of them are going to go to jail with Catherine Pugh? The marijuana things with Cheryl Glenn. Why wasn't the state senators involved? You have the FBI flying a plane already. And then we get Ross McNutt, who says he has a company that isn't registered with the Maryland State Department of Assessments and Taxation yet. The police commissioner that the corrupt mayor installed. And we don't know what kind of corruption brought him here. You got Jack Young. Jack Young has been getting tax credits for his house on Madison Street. That's not his principal residence, but he's just going to pay 1 year back. How many years, Bernard, have you been getting and stealing from taxpayers? The Baltimore City Republican Central Committee lied and said that they were a 527. Well, I have the only 527 certificate for them that's legitimate. And they owe over $10,800 to Baltimore Enoch Pratt Libraries. And that was covered up by the staff of Enoch Pratt. And this is why they filed these malicious charges against me. They tell you that it's Ray Ray and Pookie. Well, the time that I spent at Central Booking on those false charges, thanks to Shannon Wright, let me tell you what I saw. I stayed in the same jumper. I didn't get a change of clothes for 60 days. The tennis that they gave me, size 13, I wore size 10. I had to have my wife and the Baltimore Black Think Tank called down to the warden's office to get us a change of linen. I had been there for 35 days before they changed the linen. The food is atrocious. There's mold. There's filth everywhere. And yet, while I was housed on 3 South, Dorm B, the men chose me to be the Amir. And I earned the respect of the Jammers, the Bloods, and the Muslims who made me their Amir, and I led them in prayer every day, 5 o'clock, 5 times a day. And these men came to me, and some of them, their cases, they're just being on trumped up charges. No bail. when we've tried to fight this changing of the cash bail system, we said that people would be sitting in jail. Well, you're sitting in jail and you're already in filthy conditions, and then somebody gonna run down on you and take the little bit of commissary you got. When you get out and you see them uptown, you know how many times I heard him say, "See him uptown, blow his brains out." Davon Tuck, who was indicted by Marilyn Mosby, came to 3 South one day and told me, "You know what? You dangerous." And I pointed to this and I told him, "This is what's dangerous," because I was reaching those brothers. We didn't have any sexual assaults. We didn't have any assaults. We didn't have any fights over the phone. Pedophiles, rapists, rather than to see them beat down, I would advise them to get moved out of the dorm. Tell them that it's not safe in here for you. I took that responsibility. So if anybody was going to be charged with intimidation, it would have been me. And this is what these young men are saying. That if it was them doing the killing, the judges, if it was all retaliatory, the judges and the prosecutors and the police and the politicians would be the targets. So there you have it. We've been sold a bill of goods about a lot of things in this city. And we've been sold the bill of goods by corrupt mayors, by corrupt city council presidents, city councilmen, administrators, judges, party officials, and media. The media is trying to blood libel every black man and boy in this city. Remember, it was the media that said that Sean Suter was murdered by a black man in a black jacket with a white stripe on it. They've never retracted that. They've never apologized to the people who were abused, jacked up, beat up, doors kicked in at Harlem Park. And David Roken and the ACLU will file a lawsuit, but that won't repair the damage and the harm. Our people are being abused. No one has spoken out about the sanctuary city policy. Brothers don't have jobs, so they're in front of the Asian markets selling heroin that comes from Afghanistan thanks to George Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. But Baltimore is in a crisis. Baltimore is in a crisis because you won't wake up and you won't get rid of the people who have disturbed you in both parties. And to you Republicans for this primary, I know Catalina Burke. We had a good relationship, political relationship at one time. But all alliances are temporary. If you don't vote for me, she's a better candidate than Shannon Wright. Stokey Kennedy, Ricky Vaughn, they're better candidates than Sheila Dixon, Jack Young, or Brandon Scott. But the media won't tell you. See, honesty is at an all-time low. Candor, forthrightness is at an all-time low in this city. But you can trust me to tell you the truth. I'm David Anthony Wiggins, Republican candidate for Mayor of Baltimore City 2020. You can take it or you can leave it alone. Thank you for your time.